Hey, everybody, this is Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the Firedup Network, and welcome back to Ange from She Does Sports and Femme. And we got a special. Ange has recruited this guy and said he can debate. He's very fiery, unlike the guy I co-host with, Stormin Norm Rumack, who's I'm not gonna. It's his birthday Sunday, so happy birthday, Norm. By the way, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Ange, are you a mother?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so happy Mother's Day to you. And what are you going to do? What's your special thing going to be for Mother's Day? Are you going to watch the Buffalo Sabres and the Habitants, the Montreal Canadiens? That's my best
I am.
French, okay, Ben?
I
My
am.
best
And
French.
hopefully the Canadians can at least give me a win for Mother's Day and all the moms.
No. They don't give you a win because you're a bandwagon. Montreal doesn't like bandwagons, all right? They like Schwartz's Deli. They don't like bandwagons. Ben, can you attest to this? What do they like in Montreal? Do they like bandwagons or do you like?
We got room for everybody. The whole country, the whole continent, the whole world can jump on the Montreal Canadiens bandwagon. Angie, welcome aboard Schwartz's Deli. That's for tourists, my friend.
All right. Well, we won't talk about the nightclubs then. All right. We won't talk about the nightclubs. Then.
I'm down to talk about deli. I'm down to talk about smoked meat. I'm down to talk about poutine. And I'm down to talk about the Montreal Canadiens. So let's go.
Now the guy makes me hungry. What kind of feud am I going to have if I'm hungry and this guy's making me poutine in Montreal? Wow. All right. Let's talk about game one. Game one between the Buffalo Sabres and Montreal Canadiens. You know what? Like I'm going to be everybody. We spoke offline here. Everybody knows Maple Leafs, I believe blue and white. Second favorite team because we live in Toronto and I see Buffalo all the time. It's the Buffalo Sabres. And I told Norm, I told Angie, I got a sneaky feeling. I want Buffalo win, but I think Montreal, based on the first round, have something special. And I believe whoever wins this series is going to go to the Stanley Cup. Now, after the first game, Hudson falling down, Dubas not playing Dubas-ish. I don't know if that's a word, but what do you think?
It's not Kyle Dubas in net. It's Dobes.
I say Dubas, whatever, because I don't like the Habs. We hate the Habs. Well, they haven't taught. All right?
If it's your enemy, you should know better than your friends. You should always keep your enemies closer. You should know who you're talking about.
I don't have enemies. This guy doesn't know who I am.
You said you hate the Habs. That sounds like an enemy to me.
The mayor of North America, soon to run for the mayor of Mozambique. I can't spell it, but I can run for it. Ask Donald Trump. He can't spell USA. Anyways, let's talk about. See, he's speechless already. You tell me this is what he's already speechless.
I don't understand what you're saying. What language are you speaking? Is this English?
I'm speaking Swahili. Do you know Swahili?
To you. Okay. What do you want to talk about?
Okay. See, I gotta be easy.
You want me to break that down for you?
No, don't break it down because for you it's going to be a loss because Montreal lost. All right, I'm telling you, what can they do better to win game two? Which I'll give you my prediction later. Go ahead.
I don't like predictions, but I'll just tell you this. Game one, not the best game. Obviously, look, Montreal came out of a very emotional, very challenging series against Tampa Bay. All roads to the Stanley Cup final for the last 5-6 years have gone through the state of Florida, and they just knocked off Tampa, arguably the best team, consistently over the last decade. Arguably the best goalie in the world. Hedman was out for the series. We got lucky there. Maybe the best right winger in the world in Nikita Kucherov. We got through that series. It was grueling. The thing that Montreal had going for them in that series is they trailed very seldomly in any game. They won games on the road, and they played a tight system games. Against Buffalo, had a few gaffes in the first period. Right away, they were down 2 goals. They played a little better as the game progressed. Again, maybe a little bit of a hangover from Tampa Bay. Let's hope for game 2 that Montreal, they can flush everything that happened with Tampa, get the emotions out of the system, start the game a little bit stronger. Obviously, our best defenseman, second best defenseman, however you want to look at it with Lane Hudson, he blew a tire. He's an elite skater. He's got elite vision. He's got elite touch skills. Happens from time to time that someone might blow a tire. Gave up the odd man rush, an easy goal. Gave up a nice power play goal to the Buffalo Sabres. So one and done. Hopefully that's in the pipe or gone. We don't need to talk about that one anymore, and we'll move on to the next game.
All right. So I'm going to ask you this. When you look at Montreal, and you look at the Buffalo Sabres Arena, KeyBank Arena, for me, forget about Air Canada Center or Scotiabank Arena or whatever. Those are the 2 best arenas in the National Hockey League. Do you agree or disagree?
So I've been in both. I was just in Buffalo this fall. I saw them play the Washington Capitals. I've been in the Bell Center many, many times. To me, There's no other rink like the Bell Center. The way the seats are, you're really on top of each other. There's a reason why it's the biggest rink in the league. It's the way that the seats are. You're really on top of the action. When you're in Buffalo, I was kind of like in a recliner, lazy boy. There was lots of space. People could walk by. Not the same atmosphere. Buffalo fans, look, I can't say a negative thing about the town of Buffalo. It's not the best place in the world, and I love the people that stick it out there. I love the sports fans in that town. They are loyal to their teams. It's almost a relic of the past, right? If MLB, if NBA is going to open an expansion team, Buffalo's not going to be on the docket to get an expansion team. They're lucky to have two pro sports teams, and I would never shit on the town of Buffalo. At the same time, you can't compare the fandom in Montreal, where it's a religion, versus the fandom in Buffalo, where it's what's on when the Bills are done.
Also, I will say, though, you called it. You're like, there's going to be a lot of red jerseys in the stands. And I did make an extra point to look. I would say the crowd was almost like a 50-50, like close to it.
Look, you guys know there's a lot of Canadians that head down to Buffalo for games. There's a lot of Habs fans that live in Ontario. They grew up Habs fans for whatever reason. You know, good example on the Montreal Canadiens, Josh Anderson. He grew up in Burlington, Ontario as a Habs fan. So there's a lot of people like that. You know, his family's probably at the game. They can make that drive down quite easily. Habs are universal.
Much like the Maple Leafs, for when Maple Leafs play Buffalo, it's always Maple Leaf jerseys. And even Montreal, when they play in Buffalo, it's 50-50 there also. So Buffalo gets the money for the Leafs and Montreal.
6-hour drive to Buffalo, 6-hour drive to Toronto. So it's basically the same distance if you're going to either towns. Obviously, it's less competitive. Get hockey tickets in Buffalo. A lot of Bills fans in Montreal, a lot of people make that drive almost weekly. Met a lot of season ticket holders that have Bills tickets that live in Montreal or in Quebec. So a lot of synergy between the two towns.
So I'm going to tell you a story that you'll like here between Montreal here. I was interviewing Darcy Tucker a few years ago, and I go, everybody's talking about the Forum, and you played in Maple Leaf Gardens, and people say those are the two most iconic arenas. Which for you would be the most iconic arena? You know what he says? Montreal Forum, because you step on it, you feel higher. Exactly what you said when it comes to the Bell Center. You feel higher and everything like that. And many people have always, people that I interviewed, always said Montreal Forum was the place to be. They were grown up in Toronto and live and die with the Maple Leafs, but one place that they want to play or would have wanted to play is Montreal Forum. The other is Chicago Stadium. And they took the best of Montreal Forum and put it in the Bell Center there also. But
well, like not really the best, because the Ghosts haven't come with, and we haven't won a championship in that building yet, and we've been there since.
You're going to talk about not winning a championship with me since 1967? Yeah. Ange wasn't born. You weren't born. I wasn't born. Come on. Don't throw it in.
Well, I'm here to rub salt in the wounds of all the Leafs fans that are listening to this. I thought we were going to have a debate about how my team is superior to yours. And so I got to throw some gas on that fire.
I can't debate that. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't debate that because it's the truth. Right now, as we sit in 2026, probably in 2027 also, Montreal is a better team. But they took their lickings like the Maple Leafs. You want me to say I'm not biased, all right? My colleague of mine says the Maple Leafs are God's team. Yeah, and you know who I'm saying. Okay, the Maple Leafs had Mitch Marner. They had Austin Matthews. They had William Nylander, who likes to come out without shirts and all that, go to games and everything. They have all these guys.
I don't know who any of them are, because they're all losers who have never accomplished anything.
I agree with you.
Okay? These are big names that are nobody outside of Toronto, to be frank with you. Okay, Austin Matthews, yeah, he got the C for the Olympics, but aside from that, none of these guys have accomplished anything in their careers of significance at the pro level. Let's face it. They're losers. You guys were behind the 8 ball with Mitch Marner. You guys had no real exit strategy.
All right, but hold on. Okay, now he wants the debate. Okay, so I'm going to.
That's why I'm here. I'm here for the debate.
Okay, hold on. Let me speak. So you got Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews, and they haven't won anything. Okay, you want to say that? You want to say that? But what has Cole Caulfield won in the National Hockey League? What does Dubich, whatever we want to call? What does Lane Hudson won? Come on. They're the same players. The same player from Montreal have won Butkus. The Maple Leafs have won Butkus. Buffalo has won Butkus in 15 years. So when you're going to make a comparison, compare Cole Makar, compare all these guys from Colorado, or compare Kachuk, from Florida.
All
You
that
can't
is
make a
coming to the
comparison
Montreal
between Montreal
Canadiens.
and Toronto.
All that's coming to the Montreal Canadiens. Lane Hudson has been in the league for 2
It's
seasons.
coming. I could have said that since 1967. The Stanley Cup's coming, and we never see. Look,
You guys are still saying that it's coming. You guys are not making
I'm
any
not saying it's
progress.
I'm going to say
You guys are not.
it's
It's
going
one
to come
step
in
forward, one step back.
2067.
The
Look,
Habs are making progress.
I know one thing. If you go around the provinces of Canada, everybody's going to say Edmonton. People in Calgary are not even going to say Calgary. They're probably going to say Edmonton and all that. And I'm not even saying the Maple Leafs. You're a Montreal fan. I'm going to say this. Out of the Canadian teams, don't give me Winnipeg also, right? Out of the Canadian teams, who's going to win the next Stanley Cup? If in your eyes, it's going to be Montreal. A lot of people's eyes, they went twice in a row. Edmonton. Do you really believe Montreal? Forget about 26, because I really think they're going to, whoever wins this series goes to the Stanley Cup. So when you go to the Stanley Cup, you have a chance to win it or whatever. Do you believe Montreal wins the Stanley Cup in the next 3 years?
I think Montreal is building a core that can stay intact and compete.
But that's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. I said, do you believe that Montreal wins the Stanley Cup in 3 years? I don't care who's in top.
Last time I was on, I told Angie I don't make predictions. Now you're asking me for a 3-year prediction. So
yeah,
for argument's sake, let's just say yes. I want to answer your question before. What have our guys done? Dobesh is a rookie. Lane Hudson's second year in the league. Cole Caulfield's been to the Stanley Cup Finals. Nick Suzuki's been to the Stanley Cup Finals. Nick Suzuki's played in the gold medal game of the Olympics. He won the Four Nations tournament. He's up for the Selke Trophy this year. Cole Caulfield is the first Montreal Canadian in 30 years to score 50 goals. This is what these guys have accomplished in the league this year.
Now, listen. I also like the Buffalo Bills. So not only am I'm a Maple Leaf fan, somebody kill me now because I like the Buffalo Bills also. I could tell you they went to 4 straight Super Bowls. Who goes to 4 straight championships and losers? I'm used to losers. Okay,
we're talking about stuff that happened 30 years ago. I'm talking about things that happened 30 days ago.
Because look, when's the last time you won the Stanley Cup?
In 1993.
Let me hear. Hold on. The hair's in my ear. Let me hear. When's the last time you won the Stanley Cup?
Hear me clearly, 1993. But they went to the Stanley Cup Finals in 2021. When was the last time the Sabres went to the Stanley Cup Finals?
Stanley Cup Finals, because that was a bogus COVID year. That's a bogus COVID year, all right?
Oh, it doesn't count? It didn't happen?
1993.
The Habs didn't beat the Leafs in 7 games in that series?
Yes, that's why I'm pissed off. But anyways, look, Ange, 1993, 2026. How many years is that?
Listen, 1993 was a huge year for us.
And 33 was number. And listen, he's going to like what I have to say.
Okay,
listen,
go.
He's going to love me at this. He's going to say, forget about you, Ange. Listen, 33 was the number of what goalie in Montreal?
Patrick, wow.
And what did I say? Montreal, whoever's going to win this series is going to go. And, I accept. If they play Colorado, if they play Vegas, I think Montreal wins it. But if they play Colorado, I don't know. But how apropos when we're mentioning Patrick Waugh that they play Colorado and all that. But I'm telling you, 33 years, I'm saying whoever wins this series between Buffalo and Montreal goes to the Stanley Cup. And if they don't play Colorado, or maybe if they do, Montreal will win the Stanley Cup. I'm even telling you this. No wonder you're my best friend now. All right, I'm even telling you this. Now, I'm going to ask you, we're going to close it out here, but I got to ask you, he likes Montreal. What do you think? There's people talking about the Expos coming back. There's people saying now Vancouver may get a Major League Baseball team. Take us through the Expos. Do they need to revamp the stadium? Do they have enough money to take the stadium and build a team?
The short answer is no, and the long answer is no. So now the long answer. In my heart, Look, I'm wearing an Expos t-shirt under here, man. I'm all Montreal sports all the time, okay? Mes amours, okay? I love the Expos. We all miss the Expos. The problem is, one, they don't have a place to play. They can't stick them back in Olympic Stadium. It's not a dedicated ballpark. It's in the wrong part of town. It's under $1 billion renovation, so they don't have a stadium. Two, the economics of baseball are very different than they were in 1969. In the state of the Canadian economy, where you're paying players in US dollars, where you have a payroll that's going to exceed $100 million USD, I don't know if this city has the financial capability with the corporate structure to support this. I don't know if the people want to spend this kind of money. This isn't Toronto. I don't know if people are going to spend $300 to sit in the rafters and watch a baseball game. Doesn't seem possible. We don't have the proper baseball facility. That would have to be built. That's $1 billion. To me, the only way it happens is if Bell Media says to Rogers and says, we're going to put a second team in this country so that we have a baseball team to put on our TV network that we can broadcast coast to coast and we can compete with the Rogers baseball media conglomerate and tell them, like I said, give you the middle finger and say, you know what, forget the red brand. It's about the blue brand, and they're going to have a complete media integration with this team. And that's the only way it happens. The Bronfmans are talking about putting in a lot of money. It's got to come from the media company. They got to own the whole thing from top to bottom, in my mind. They'll play in Bell Park. They'll be on TSN TV. They'll be coast to coast. They'll be on RDS in French. But I don't know. It seems like, Major League Baseball hasn't expanded in a long time. How are you going to get an expansion team in place, compete with other teams that have had their minor league system? Montreal was famous for their minor league system, one of the first teams to do extensive scouting in Latin America, in the Caribbean. Now that's unanimous across Major League Baseball. Every team has huge scouting departments in DR, in Puerto Rico, all over Latin America. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen. If I had to bet, I'd say no, because I just don't see where the money's going to come from.
So number one, and then we'll close it out. This guy is very, very smart.
I saw you smiling as he was talking. I was like, oh,
no, because I was smiling because this guy has an inside. The only way it's Bell Media, and Bell Media actually last week met with Major League Baseball. I'll tell you off air everything else. So you're along the same lines. Put it that way. If that happens, Montreal and Vancouver get a team. Put it that way. All right.
There's a lot of talk about a National Basketball Association team coming to Montreal because the facility is there and the ownership is there. They would play in the Bell Center. The Molsons would most likely own the team. Probably Bell Media would want a piece of the team the way they have a piece of the Montreal Canadiens. That's why they play in the Bell Center. But I don't know if Montreal's really a basketball town. I don't know if anyone can really compete with the Montreal Canadiens in that season. So I'd love to see the baseball team come back. I don't know if you guys follow Major League Soccer, but Montreal FC or CF Montreal, formerly the Montreal Impact, they had a very strong showing over the last decade, and they've really been in decline over the last few years. A lot of talk about the team leaving town, and we're not seeing people go to the stadium anymore. It's in the wrong part of town. It's right where the Olympic Stadium is. They haven't attracted any big-name players. For a period, they brought in Drogba for a year. That was a lot of fun. They haven't had anybody like that. So the city is not really rallying behind the soccer team. I wouldn't want to see a baseball team come back here and die. I don't want to be like Atlanta for hockey. I'd love to see it happen, but I don't know. It just, the economics don't seem to make sense.
What about the Canadian Premier League with Quebec? They got a team there. How's that doing? They just started off there.
Is this soccer?
Yeah, okay, forget it. You don't know. They moved.
I could pretend to care about soccer a little bit, but I don't.
All right. What about? I have to ask because we just got a question from Kevin Owens. Do you know who Kevin Owens is?
The Kevin Owens.
The Kevin Owens. And tell what am I famous for?
Celebrity friendship.
Oh God, wrestling.
The Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens. He says, get this guy off the Fired Up network. I'm learning a haluva kick. All right, that's what he says to do. He laughs. He knows what I'm talking about. All right.
If Kevin Owens, aka Kevin Steen, is really talking to us right now, I am flattered.
Talking to me, not to us. Talking to me. And don't I tell them who one of my close personal friends is?
Oh, his favorite Jewish wrestler.
No, not forget about you. Another wrestler.
Bill Goldberg.
No. Who's bald? Who looks like me and all that? Come on, Ange. Come on. Who never gives me a? Come on, tell him.
Ooh, what? You're a fan of all your favorite Jewish
Oh
wrestlers.
God. Who I'm putting you on the phone when it's your birthday. Put it that
Well, I
way.
don't know. I'm still waiting for my
DJ,
birthday
put it.
call.
She. This is the best show that Ange has ever done. She hasn't contributed like the Montreal Canadiens in 33 years. This, all right. So put it this way. Yes, I'll tell you off air. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Dwayne the Rock Johnson. But here, Ben, it's a great to have you on, and I like to have you on all the time here. But let me ask you this: what do you do? Hell, based on your debating, you're not making money. What do you do in your regular life?
Okay, so I got a few different things going on in my regular life. I got my own company where I do consulting for people that want to buy or sell their cars. I also work in automotive software, so I sell AI technology to car dealerships. I'm an amateur sports broadcaster myself. I have one of the top-rated podcasts in the country back in the day, the original English language Montreal Canadiens podcast, Habscast. That's long gone. Ship has sailed. I did internships. I had radio programs, so I'm well versed in media.
Hold on. You said the ships have sailed. Why? I'm gonna offer you a show here on the world arena. We're number 3 in Canada. Ask Ange here. No wonder I have Ange. Sportsnet, TSN, and who's number 3 in the world? Honestly, in Canada, who's number 3? It's Fired Up Network, and
you
have.
You give me a show. I'll be back anytime you guys want to have me on, and I will
You're going to have your own show. You're going to.
I'm going to tell you exactly how bad the Toronto Maple Leafs are. I'm going to tell you why the Montreal Canadiens are the greatest hockey franchise in the history of the world.
Blowing it up with Montreal Canadiens. I'm going to pair you up with this guy. And you know him very well, Chaim Gashmagitz. All right? So Chaim Gashmagitz and Ben will have a great show here. And
give me Chaim, give me Kevin Owens. Let's put us all together here, man.
No, Kevin Owens. I'll get Kevin Owens to throw you through a table. All right? So there. But here, honestly, first of all, I like you. And I'm like Ange. She's comme ci, comme ça. But with you, if you want to do podcasting and shows and all that, this show is on Roku. All Rokus in the world can see that lousy face of yours. All right? So, look, if you want to show...
I'm a face for radio, man, but I got the voice. I got the gift of gab.
No, you don't have a voice.
Like it is.
Okay, here. Here it is. We'll close it out here. Give me the score of tonight's game between Le Habit in French and in English, between Montreal and not watching.
This be Ben's first prediction. Ben doesn't make predictions.
It doesn't matter if he makes predictions or not. I just offered him a job, man. Come on.
Aucune chance que je dise ça. Je fais pas les prédictions. Go les Habs. Go Habs, go. I ain't doing a prediction for you. I don't do predictions. Habs are going to win this series. Habs are going to take it tonight. I'm not giving you a score. It's trivial stuff. Who cares? You want to talk about the strategy? You want to talk about what's going to go down? You want to talk about who's going to step up? I'll give you that, but I ain't giving you a prediction.
This is the way you get a guy who doesn't give predictions and all that. If the Habs are trailing 3-0 at the end of the first period, do they win?
Yeah, they win.
That's tough to come
back.
That's
his prediction. That's his prediction. They come back to win. So it's going to be, they're going to score 4 goals and they win 4-3, which probably is going to be a score for today's game. There's the prediction. That's how you get predictions. Don't ever say who can debate with me. Nobody can debate with the president of the province of Canada, the mayor-elect of North America, and soon I'm going to run for the mayor of Quebec. Who's the mayor of Quebec? Who?
The city or the province?
Yeah, province, city, whatever. Come on. Who's the mayor of Quebec?
Different things. There's a city. There's Quebec City, and there's the province of Quebec.
I want to give him respect. What's his name?
It's a woman.
Okay, what's a woman? And
she would never let you. They would never let you in. They would shut you down.
Is the premier of Quebec
All right now. So let's hope. Because, Buffalo Sabres, a lot of fans here in Toronto like Buffalo Bills. By the way, I got a sneak glimpse.
I'm also recruiting, though, for Canadiens fans. So I'm doing pretty good.
Recruiting the Canadian fans by wearing you host a Toronto Maple Leafs show. You're going to be on the bandwagon by the end of the week when the Habs dump the Sabres and they're playing the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
I even called it. I told you this already. I want Buffalo to win, but I'm even saying Montreal is probably going to win because the goalie, they have a good offensive and good, young guys. But I'll tell you this, and this is honestly, if Buffalo wins today, it's going to be problems. There's going to be
You're
problems.
never in trouble until you lose a game.
I know.
home.
Don't give me these cockamamie lines here or whatever.
It's not cockamamie. It's true. It's true,
Right,
because if they lose 2 in a
Montreal
row,
won
Buffalo
3
come back and
road
win
games.
2.
3 road games. They won 1 home game for all the mystique of the Bell Center and everything like that. They won 1 home game.
The
They won 3 road games.
disadvantage.
So what does that
The
tell me?
disadvantage of being in the Bell Center is the road teams get fired up too, because they're not used to hearing crowds like that. And when they hit the ice and they hear the buzz in the building, it gets them going too, and they want to silence that crowd. So it works to our advantage. It works to our disadvantage. C'est la vie, as we say here in Quebec. It's part of the game. The Habs are ready to go, though. And like I said, if they lose 2,
you want to know what is life? That is life. You say c'est la vie, that is life. Now, you want to know what is life here, okay? He mentioned in his soliloquy down.
Life here is heartbreak as a Leafs fan.
Why are you breaking me here? He mentioned fired up. You get fired up. That's his new way of income, and you're going to give him $2 for this show, all right? So, like, look, his new way, and I'm seriously, Ben, anytime you want to do shows, podcasts, or whatever, you want to, they go in Stanley Cup, he's going to go. Sorry that the Maple Leafs did not win the Stanley Cup, but can I do shows year-round for Montreal since we're the Stanley Cup champions? I go, well, first of all, can you get Cole Caulfield? Can you get him to be like the second pick so Maple Leafs could trade the first pick and second pick? Now here, last question, and we're always going to close off with a Maple Leaf here. Austin Matthews, Maple Leafs get the first pick. Do you trade Austin Matthews to get the second pick?
So you'd have the first and second pick in the draft?
And if you know anything, and you could tell him off air why I'm saying this, because there are rumors, but started by Montreal Canadian jealous people, Montreal full of jealous people, but they can eat smoked meat, all right? And their clubs are like, magnifique, all right? So, like, look, second pick, you trade Austin Matthews for the second pick. San Jose has Malkin Celebrini playing with Austin Matthews. We get first, second pick. We need a stud defenseman also, but I digress there. Do you trade? If somebody gives you, mainly San Jose gives you the second pick, another pick, Angie's sweater there and all that, do you trade Austin Matthews? Yes or no?
No.
He said no.
I say yes.
Now maybe.
See, you'll never get the value back for him. You'll never get the value back for him. Look at what happened with Marner. You'll never get the value back for the guy. I don't see why. This is why Toronto can't have nice things, because you're talking about trading away your captain.
He's not the captain. Come on. He's only captain because they put us. This guy, Rasmus Dahlin, is the captain. And you didn't even make me debate between Cole Hudson and Lane Hudson and Dahlin. Maybe we'll do it on the next show. You're invited for game. If Buffalo loses, you're not invited. You're invited for game 3 and 4 whenever Buffalo beats them.
Okay, great. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Go Habs. Best of luck to everybody in here. I hope we're all right today. I hope Austin Matthews does not get traded. I hope your Maple Leafs toil in an eternity of, finishing between.
All right, just say good Shabbos and that's it. Say good Shabbos and that's it. All right, Ange.
Bye, guys.
I got to find my keeper now. All right, Ange, tell everybody how to get a hold of us.
All right, you can find us streaming on all Roku devices and smart TVs. Search Fired Up, all one word. You can find me at Sheeta Sports. You can find Joe at Fired Up. And Ben is just Ben.
You can find me at Auto Consultants. You can find me on some other social media platforms if you want to find me. And I'll be back on the show to tell Joe exactly how his Sabres, how his Maple Leafs, how his Bills, how his Blue Jays, and then whatever other Toronto team you want to pull out here, how your Raptors lost in Game 7, whatever you want to talk about, I'm happy to talk to you about, because I will rub salt in your wound till the end of time.
We got Scotty Barnes, and the Maple Leafs
are never winning a championship.
Hold on. The guy, listen, we got Scotty Barnes, which is better than any Montreal basketball player. No. What? You don't have a Montreal team? What is that?
Wait. I'm sorry. You don't know who Lou Dort is, who just won an NBA championship?
No. That's not a Montreal team. That's a Montreal player.
Sorry, you don't think there's any players that play basketball for Montreal? Oh, my God, Scotty Barnes, naughty duck. What has Scotty Barnes accomplished in his career?
Even though Buffalo will beat Montreal 5-2 today, that's all I can stand up, Ben. Thanks, Ange, and thanks, Ben.